Hey all, Lawrence from Express Unity, and today we're going to be continuing our weapon shooting systems. Now, I do need to apologize for the absence in videos lately. I'm actually in the process of finally moving, so I've just gotten my computer set up like 2 days ago maybe, and my internet just came back yesterday, I believe. Unfortunately, my internet is not as good as it was, so uploads are gonna take me a lot longer. So I'm not sure if I could make more than 2 videos a week. I think I was doing 2 videos a week last time, so it might be, I don't know. I'll see. Just because it's gonna take me a really long time to upload, I might even have to let it upload overnight now, just because of how bad my internet is. Anyway, so where we left off is we had our weapon finally start shooting. However, we had a problem where your own weapon bullet velocity wasn't really being synchronized. So to start things off, we're going to fix this by, rather than adding relative force, we're going to want to do velocity. Alright? And we're going to make that velocity equal to a new vector. So inside the obviously shoot, we're going to make a new parameter, and this is going to be called val for velocity. And we just want to remove all of this stuff then here and copy it and make the velocity equal to val. And then we want to pass the vector3.forward. Actually, rather, we don't want to do that. We want to say game object, which is referring to the weapon, .transform.forward, and we can change the speed later of the bullet, but for now I think maybe 10 will be fine. Do remember that depending on what modeling software your weapon has come from, if it's been modeled correctly for Unity's transform, then transform.forward will be correct. Otherwise, if the models come from something like Blender, where the rotations don't match up to Unity's, transform.forward is going to be something else, like I think the up direction or maybe the left direction. Can't quite remember, but yeah, if it doesn't go in the forward direction, you're gonna have to just play with this and change it to left. If I can type, or right rather, not left, or up or down. But for our case, if you're using the weapon pack I'm using, then forward will do fine. One other thing that I forgot to mention is a lot of you are saying that the UI pack I'm using is paid for. That is correct. However, I'm not. You can replace it with anything. It's not like you need the UI pack. Same with the weapons. Same with the player. I'm only showing you guys how to make the code behind the multiplayer game. You can change up the models, you can change up the UI. It doesn't matter. You can put in code that I haven't put in, you can remove code that I have. It's just so you guys get a general understanding of how to use Photon and PlayFab together. Right now we've just been focusing on Photon and getting the health working, but after we get all this done and we've completed the free-for-all game mode, then we're going to be jumping into PlayFab, getting the name, getting the, can't remember what the currency is called, but getting our currency. Because what we're going to end up doing is we're not going to actually have our weapons spawn in the game, not for this game mode anyway. What we're going to do is actually have a shop where players can buy the weapons, and then they'll spawn in with that particular weapon. So that's what we're aiming for, and then we might have another game mode that's Battle Royale or something, and then all the weapons in the game can be randomly spawned. For now, the reason the weapons are just placed on the map floor is just so we can test them out. You know, when the user dies, then he'll drop his weapon, and anyone else can pick up the gun. Think of it like Counter-Strike, right? When you die, you drop your gun. Even though anyone can buy the gun, the counter-terrorists have what, the M4A1, and then the terrorists have the AK. And so if one of the terrorists end up getting killed, then you can pick up the AK. It doesn't matter what team you're on. That's kind of the same feel I'm going for with the weapon system. So it doesn't matter what weapon you have, it doesn't matter how much it costs in the store. If you lose it in-game, someone else can pick it up. So, kind of adding a bit of fairness to the game in respects that if you're a new player and you do manage to down someone with a really big gun, you can then take his gun and start owning. Okay, so I believe that's it. We are basically just sending the velocity that we want over to our RPC and setting the velocity of the bullet rather than adding a force. So, and we're also going to be changing this later on. As you'll see now, this doesn't match up to our crosshair. For now, we just want to get shooting working. So if we build and run. And oh, one other thing. I'm pretty sure my hard drive got damaged in the move. So my computer is a little bit sluggish. So I might need to try a format. Reformatting my hard drive and seeing how that goes. If it doesn't fix it, I'm probably just going to end up going out and buying just a second SSD where all my projects can go on. But yeah, so far it's been doing alright today. But yeah, sadly I think my computer has taken a bit of a beating in the move. Anyway, I'll just log in here. So yeah, all this UI that I'm using here, you can use anything. You can use the basic Unity UI. It doesn't need to be the paid asset. Okay. So I'm just going to get this user to look at the weapons, and this one is going to pick it up. And if we shoot, you can see that now both bullets on either screen are synchronized in the velocity. And we can go to this user. We're also going to want to fix up the movement later on as well, because it's still a bit choppy. And then if we shoot him, you can see that the bullet will push you away. So right now the bullets aren't being destroyed. So that is an easy fix. Just going to Alt F4 out of this. Alright, so back in our code, all we need to do is say destroy. Then we want to pass the bullet. And then we give it a time. And I don't know, without it be colliding with anything, maybe, because the bullets are going to be traveling pretty fast, so maybe 4 seconds. The bullet's going to time out after 4 seconds if it doesn't hit anything. So now that we have that, we can start making a proper way to shoot. And what I mean is, I don't think I'm going to have any bullet drop. I am going to basically replicate what CSGO has. And how we're going to do this is we're going to basically... not really... okay, so... Oh. Alright. Like I said, really sluggish at the moment. So, okay, pretend there's a ground under this player, pretend there's a box, right? We're going to shoot a raycast out, and we're going to get the position of that raycast, right? Then we're going to get the direction of the current weapon, or the direction that the point and the player are currently facing, and that's the way the bullet is going to travel. However, if you look up in the sky, there's going to be nothing for the raycast to hit. So how we're going to solve that is we're actually just going to make a giant invisible sphere around everything, so that if you look in any direction, the bullet will still fire. So it's a kind of hacky way to do things, but it's going to work, and that's what's important. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to go, is it in resources? Yep. So our bullet, we want to open up the prefab, and we want to disable gravity. We don't want any gravity in this bullet. Another thing we want to do is make collision detection continuous. It's very important because when you're dealing with the speed of the bullet, sometimes if it's not continuous, it'll hit a player and it won't trigger any anything like the on collision enter. So make sure that that is continuous. Alright, now that we have that, we can start coding this. So on our, where was it? Is it the gun manager? Yes, the gun manager. So what we want is, we're going to say raycast or raycast hit. Before that, sorry, we want to create a new ray. This ray is going to be equal to, do we have, let me just quickly see, do we get, is that a public? It is a public. Gun manager should be on the player, so just let me check. It's been a while since I've coded this, so I need to remind myself of how I've done everything. So yeah, movement, gun manager, easy. Alright, so what we can do here is, let's make a reference to our camera. And we're just gonna say cam equals GameObject.getComponent movement, and we want to equal it to the current camera inside of that script. And now what we want to do is say cam.getComponent camera, and then we want to say dot I think it's screen point array, that's the one, and we want to get the input dot mouse position. Alrighty, so oh, that's right. Oh, I'm doing it here anyway. In that, actually, we might want to make a different raycast anyway. But I think we could just reuse the same ray, but a different raycast hit. Let's call this maybe hit bullet, and then we can say something like if put this within the get mouse button down. So if physics dot raycast, and then we want to put the current array, and then we want to out hit, and this is going to be a very large distance. In fact, if we don't put any distance at all, it should just be an infinite collision. So we're going to do that. Alright, so when we go to, let's see, when we get a shoot, we pass in the current game objects forward. Okay. So let's try this. What we're going to do is pass a direction. And so in the gun manager, what we want to do is say vector3 direction equals, I believe we want to do hit.point takeaway game object.transform.position, and we can pass that in. So now that we have that inside our weapon, instead of passing the game object.transform.forward, we can pass in the current direction, and we still going to keep the speed there. Maybe just give it a 5 for now, and that should then pass in the velocity of a bullet, and that should be all good. Just thinking, I think I've done it right. Oh yeah, this hit bullet, we also want to do that, and change hit.point to hit bullet. I mean, I guess we could reuse everything here, but because this will only work when you press the E key, right? So it doesn't really matter when we use this stuff. So I guess we could reuse it, but just for now, just gonna do this. We might change it up later. Definitely not an optimized system, but like I said, just showing you guys the basics. If I were to show absolutely everything, we'd be here all day. So just trying to give you guys an idea of how to do things. I know you guys can go off and do a bit of research on your own. Okay, so I am back. Now, a few of you in my last video basically told me that, well, some of them enjoyed just the whole process of me trying to find the errors, that it made the video a little too long. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically just going off and finding a solution, and then I'll come back and show you guys the end solution. So basically what I'm doing here is, well, we're going to approach this differently. So instead of having the direction be passed through to the shoot function, so let's just basically remove, actually no, so we still want the vector 3, right? But we're going to call it point instead. And we're going to call this point as well. We are then going to remove the rigid body and the velocity and say bullet.transform.lookAt, and we're going to pass point. So in the gun manager, when we shoot, we basically want to say hit bullet dot point. Point. And then now what we want to do is make a bullet script. Don't think I've made one for it. Yeah, I haven't. So go ahead and make a bullet script. Sorry, phone calls are annoying. Okay, sorry about that. So, in the network, in the player, let's create a new script. We'll call it bullet. And we'll drag that onto the bullet. Oh, come on. Alrighty. And basically what we're going to do is say GameObject.getComponent, and we'll just get the rigid body component, dot velocity equals GameObject.transform.folds, and we'll times that by 10. And so for now, the velocity should so let's just check. We get a point, go to the gun, we look at, we don't want to times the point by 5 anymore. So let's give that a shot. There it is. All right. So now this should make the bullet look at the direction, and then the velocity of the bullet should make it travel in that area where your mouse was. There it is. So while it's a bit floaty at the moment, we can fix that by adding some speed to the bullet. But for now, let's go ahead, build and run, and try this on 2 clients. Alrighty, we will play this. And we're gonna play that. Press let's join with the first one. Just move him out of the way. Alrighty, so we pick the weapon up. There it is. Bullets are now... The camera is swaying a bit, but the bullets do aim in the direction of where the cursor is. And if we go and shoot him, bullets go basically where the cursor is. And same should work for this player. Pick the weapon up. Bullets shoot. Can shoot this guy. Only thing that happens right now is he just gets pushed away. But that's pretty good. You'll see that if we look up in the sky though, nothing happens. So what we need is so we're gonna quickly get a blender. And if you guys don't know what Blender is, it's a modeling software. So what we're gonna do is just, you're gonna have a default scene like this. This isn't really a tutorial on Blender, but we do need to use it to get our desired result. So this is a default scene. You hold down middle mouse button to basically pan around your scene like this. You press A once to select everything in your scene, and then you press X to remove it. Then what we want to do is press Shift A, and we want to get a UV sphere. What we want to do next is press Tab, and then while everything is highlighted, press space, and we want to say flip normals. What this will do is make, inside of Unity, the faces on the inside of this sphere rather than on the outside. And this just helps with generating a collider. So, just going to drag that to my other monitor while I save. And what I'm going to do here is just make a new folder called Blender. And I'm going to call this Sky. Alright, sorry, my monitor is above me, so I got to kind of look up and talk when I did that. Anyway, so we now have this model. And we want to go to our game mode scene, so free for all. And we're going to just put that model in the center of our scene. And we're going to scale it. Basically just going to make it a very large sphere. We are then going to give it a mesh collider. And we're going to disable the mesh renderer. And that should be it. So if we now go back to the where was it? Was it Photon? Yep. And just quickly play it. We should now be able to shoot in every single direction. Even if we miss our target, the bullet will still travel in whatever direction that our mouse is aiming. So just pick the weapon up, we're shooting at the ground. Shooting at the sky, you can see that it aims in the direction of our mouse. Alrighty, so that is all good. So, first video in the new house. I hope you guys liked it. Basically just fixed up our shooting system. I will try to make another video today and see if I can upload it. And basically we're going to end up adding health into, or making our bullets affect our health. And then we're just going to randomly respawn when we enter the server and randomly respawn when we die. Or we could make spawn points, but it is free for all, so people are going to camp. So I'd rather it just be random spawn points. But yeah, if you guys liked the video, please subscribe. If you need any help with anything, we do have a Discord, and myself and a few other members would probably be more than happy to help. Quick note though, a few people have been personally messaging me on Discord. And while I am willing to help you in a personal message, just ask the Discord server first, and then I'll help you through the Discord server so that anyone who has the same issues as you can see the solution through the Discord server. So yes, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.